This week in Grace's Girls Club, I want you to meet someone very intelligent, very accomplished. As are all of our Grace's Girls Club guests, I want you to meet Shannon. Welcome to GGC. We're so glad you're here. Please introduce yourself, tell us your title, and where it is that you work.
Hey, I'm so glad to be here. Yes, my name is Shannon Allen. I lead our talent development pillar at Innovate Alabama. Innovate Alabama is dedicated to driving entrepreneurship, technology, and innovation forward across the state of Alabama. So I'm very honored to be able to lead our talent development efforts.
And walk me through a little bit how you organize that with STEM. I understand that's a pretty big part of your day to day job. Exactly how do those two fit together?
Absolutely. So, Innovate Alabama has a specific focus on STEM fields. And so, as we are working to connect entrepreneurs with the resources that they need to strive to thrive and grow and be successful, one of those is talent. Talent is a huge key for founders and for entrepreneurs. And so, as we're working with those founders who are in the STEM space, we are helping them to really develop that talent pool of just qualified STEM talent, whether at the K through 12 level, the high school level, and also kind of into the adult workforce space as well. And so that's really how we connect the two. We're working to cultivate and to really help that pool of available STEM talent in the state kind of flourish and grow.
That is so very cool. So, is there one particular letter in STEM, the science, technology, engineering, math, that you tend to kind of cater to the most, or is it really fully encompassing in your work?
It really is fully encompassing. I will say, we see a lot of really great cybersecurity students come through, data analytics. And so, maybe on the technology piece kind of tends to really kind of take the forefront sometimes, but we definitely work with students from across all four disciplines in that STEM standpoint.
That's awesome. So let's say I'm walking at home and I think, okay, this is really cool. She kind of has her hand in multiple different components of STEM. She's working on a people to people basis and she's helping develop and grow some of that talent. I think I want to do that too. Walk me through educationally how you got to where you are today, but then what advice for schools for internships or specific classes you might have for someone looking to follow your steps.
Absolutely. So, my pathway into economic development and specifically into the role that I'm in today is definitely non traditional. I have an English degree from the University of Alabama. And so, worked in a lot of different fields and disciplines over the years. And so, what I love about economic development is it's less about the degrees that you hold and more about the passions that you have. And so, for me, I would say one of the prerequisites is you want to be passionate about really helping people. That's what economic development is about. It's helping people to find that upward mobility. It's creating jobs. It's creating opportunities. And so, if you have a strong passion for that, economic development is a great field. And then for me specifically, I love working with students and young people. There's nothing better than to see that light bulb go off. Where young people are starting to see those connections between the experiences that they've had, things that they've learned, and then those exciting career pathways that may be available to them. And so, as far as specific classes, there are economic development, economics classes all throughout, higher education. But again, I have an English degree, so it really there's a place for anyone in this field, as long as you have the passions that align to the work.
That is so very cool. So you may feel like you've already touched on this, but if so, just I guess further expand. But while you were at Alabama, maybe even before then, what was it that really made you choose this? I mean, like you said, graduating with a non-STEM degree, what was it that really said, okay, yes, this is what I want to do with my life?
So I think a recognition of the importance of STEM. And so my first exposure to technology was as a musician. And so I'm also a musician. I sing, I play piano. And so I learned at a really early age that, like, oh, you can use these really cool technological tools to create art and to create music.
Mm.
And so a lot of people think about STEM and they only think about it, I'm in a lab and I'm putting chemicals in a beaker, or I'm a doctor, or, but STEM and technology in particular, it touches so many different fields. And so, if you can familiarize yourself with those fields, even if your passion is art, if your passion is writing, there is still a place for you in STEM. So I think I always knew, from a young age that I loved technology. I loved STEM. I always loved science growing up. And so it's such an incredible field to be in. And so to help students, in talent find their way in that field is really a great honor for me.
Oh, that is so cool. And I love what you said because that really is the heart behind Grace's Girls Club is when we think STEM, I feel like especially in Huntsville, we think there's one path or maybe one or
Yeah,
two. And if you're not an aerospace engineer, you're not involved in STEM. My own journey is that I loved physics, which is kind of the cross between math and science, but I didn't just want to be a lab coat scientist. So I found this and it ended up being great. And that's really where GGC was born is, okay, let's talk about all that is out there. What really can you do in the STEM field? So I love that you brought that up.
absolutely.
Shannon, what is the best part of your job?
The best part of my job is really to see the impact that happens. I know I mentioned kind of that light bulb moment with students where, maybe we have an event or we have an engagement, and then 2 months later, I see that student in a new internship that they got as a result of someone they connected to at that engagement. I love, some of the programs that we offer really are about pairing the great theory that students are learning in the classrooms with those real world, work-based learning experiences. And so to see students who have gone through those internships or those fellowships now land, their first job in the field, that is my favorite part about the job, really is to see that impact and to see those ripple effects happening.
Absolutely, which very likely sparks generational change. So that's just
Absolutely.
awesome. So, all right, switching gears, if that's the best part, what is the most challenging part of your job?
I think the most challenging part is just continuing to make sure that the right resources get to the communities that they need to get to. It's making sure that we're staying creative, that we're staying ahead of the curve on the programming that we're, dreaming up and thinking up. It's making sure that all students across the state have access to those opportunities and those programs. And so, while that is a challenge, it's also part of what I love about the job. I love, being in a position to be strategic and to really think about those things. And so, yeah, all in all, it's great.
That's so awesome. Well, one last question for you, and giving that your whole thing is talent development, I feel like you're going to knock this one out of the park. But if you had a message to young girls, or just in general, any young students who wanted to join the STEM workforce one day, what would your message of encouragement to them be?
My message would be is one, there is a place for you in STEM, and not just a place, but a need for you in STEM. I would say, don't get locked into one discipline super early on. Explore all the different fields that are in STEM, explore all the different the disciplines, and figure out what you're passionate about, and just know that there is a place and a great need for your skills, for your mind in STEM.
That is so true. I love it. I love what you said. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for being here from Innovate, Alabama. Welcome officially to Grace's Girls Club.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.